All right, it's 5:30. Let's call the meeting to order. We can establish that there's a quorum of the board. Ariel, Bianca, Wendy. Wendy. Huh?
A coin.
Yeah.
A coin?
Yeah. A coin.
I got a friend that's a
Joe's
Curie.
your middle name?
So,
No, it's part of my first name, but I go by Wendy.
and Wendy's.
Legally Wendy Jones.
So we're all here, yay. All right, so first thing we need to do is approve some minutes from previous. The November 11th meeting, December 2nd, and January 7th. I did see those. Do we have a copy? I did see
I
it.
just got it in
I got, of the, which one? I got the November.
The 11th. The November, I'm sorry.
November, yeah, I got one of those too.
Those were
I'm
sent?
sorry. I'm sorry. No. I just got what Wendy just said. That's what I just got.
This is a copy of the 11th, or November 4th meeting. It's the only one I have a physical copy of.
Did you all review them, have a chance to review them? Is there any
Did you?
changes or edits?
I didn't.
I
Was
didn't.
I supposed to get a copy in my email?
I
Did you send that?
sent,
You sent
yes,
something?
I sent
All right, then I must have it. I must have
those
looked at it.
on, I'll give you an exact date.
All right, I'm looking at some updated agenda for, no, that's for 2/11.
February 4th. Last week.
Last draft minutes.
Yep.
So that was the 4th. I read those were fine. I didn't have anything on
I'm sure I
that.
looked at them. It's open.
And then,
So I read it, yeah. I read these.
and then, so do we want to do the November 1st? Anybody have any changes on November meeting?
No.
We're good? Wendy, if you want to see it, I got a physical copy of that one.
Of the November. Okay. No, that looks good.
And then,
That was an easy one.
did you just send that new one?
I
Yeah,
sent
okay.
January, yes.
So, no changes on that, so we approve the November meeting minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Well, if I may, why don't we do this? Why don't you review all three of them, and then we'll
Okay.
make one motion and
Okay.
second approve all three of them at one
Got
time,
it.
just for ease.
Okay, and then let's put it, the December 2nd meeting was just our ARB meeting, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have any questions on that one? Any changes? Wendy, you're good?
I'm good.
Ariel?
The December one, yeah, no changes, no comments.
And then I just got the one from January. Looks like there's a lot of ARBs approved. New business, tentative dates for the meeting.
Once you approve them, we'll post them.
Do you have any questions on those, Ariel?
I do not.
Wendy, you're good with that? Since you wrote it up?
I'm good. Yep.
All right, I'm good with that too.
So you want to make the motion to approve?
No question. Everybody good? I'll make a motion then to approve the minutes of November 4th, 2024, December 2nd, 2024, January 7th, 2025.
I'll second it. Perfect.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And now, we'll do our treasurer's report.
So treasurer's report, not much. Pretty much, I guess my first question would be to you, how do we stand on the transfer of financials?
So had talked with Bibi, who I think you met with in our office, right? Before your meeting tonight to ask if there was anything outstanding that we were still waiting for, and she said no. We pretty much have everything we need, so I think they're still doing some uploading as well.
Okay.
So if any of your owners have some questions as if they're their statement's not reflecting the right amount, like, for example, if they prepaid the year or two or whatever, if you don't think that the balance of your account's looking correct, we were just asking that you give it about another week, and everything should be fairly good. Okay, so it's still a work in progress, but right now, there's nothing outstanding that my accounting department is having to have.
Okay.
Okay.
Because it's still only 2 months and not 3, so we're still.
Right,
pretty good.
yeah,
Okay.
it's the bumpiest part of the transition of the financials.
Mine, I prepaid and mine's still showing that I owe.
That
so-
you owe.
Yeah,
That's
so,
a-
which
that's
is,
a-
which is fine, so
exactly
that
right.
way,
And
okay,
it does make people panic, and we completely understand that.
okay.
But that, unfortunately, the site, for whatever reason, I'm not a techie person, but the site's gotta be what they call live while they're doing it, because I've asked if they could just make it so that people don't see it and get the misinformation, but they can't do it that way. Does that make sense? Okay.
Okay.
But so far, so good, we're almost there.
Good.
So that's the transfer of financials, there's a status. Then we had the meeting with the South Atlantic accountant, which is BB, and pretty much a rundown. We went ahead and discussed in all the financials of the information that South Atlantic would need, any fees that the association charges for interest or late fees, any delinquencies, how they would be handled by South Atlantic, how that process would work. We also went through an explanation of how the invoice approval procedure would work with South Atlantic. So the invoice approval procedure, for the most part, most invoices would be sent to myself and Linda. We would get an email or message saying there's an invoice for your approval, and then we would give the yay or nay to go ahead and approve the invoice based on whether it was something that was approved by the board or not. If we require any changes, we can go ahead and disapprove it, state what changes we need, and we would have that check and balance in place. And then we went ahead and we talked a little bit about the collections system that South Atlantic has in coordination with Axela, which Axela is a collections company of sorts, and so any past due accounts, once everything gets sorted out, obviously with the transfer of information, instead of the board or an attorney or the management company having to deal with it, then it would be forwarded to Axela, and Axela would start a collections process and communications with the homeowner for the assessments.
And we
So-
don't get charged any of that.
Correct. So the association does not get charged for the collections process. The way it works is there would be charges from Axela to the delinquent account, and those would be collected by Axela, and then Axela would also keep any fees that we would charge. So if our documents say that we would charge interest or we would charge a late fee, then Axela would keep those fees. We would be given our assessments back, which at the end of the day is what we need. That's what we're in the business for, not for the fees or the interest. And that was it. That was pretty much the big main idea of that meeting. That's it. That's all I have.
It was a good meeting, very good, very informative. Got the president's report. We went through and we updated the ARB form, and we sent that over to South Atlantic. It is now a 3-page form, but it also has a place on there that we have email and phone number for the homeowner. So if we have a question or whatever, a contact, we can do that. It also lists what the improvements are that they can do and what they need for a ARB. And, did you get a copy of it?
A copy of the ARB.
Yeah. Thank you, Doug.
My question on that is, if someone isn't registered on their, tech, how will they submit? Where will they get an ARB?
So you, like, if they don't email, if they're not capable, so that's not unusual, and oftentimes it's either dropped off, or we have 3 local offices, or they just drop it in the mail.
So,
Well, my question, where will they get
They
a
can
form?
request that too,
Oh, they,
at any
okay,
one of those offices, or we
Okay.
can drop that in the mail.
okay, cool,
That's not, doesn't happen often, but it does happen.
right, okay.
and then also, we went through and completed a welcome packet, which we started a while ago, never got completed. So we have a welcome packet with rules and regulations and stuff for our community. So we would like it to be online, of course, but if they can't, then they could also, but that's one of the things about mailing gets to be expensive with this stuff.
I checked that's actually on the website.
This is on the
Yeah, that
website.
is there.
Did you see it? You
I've
saw it?
seen that, yeah.
Okay. And then violations. Did we want to go over the violation form now? This, or did you get violations?
Yeah, so do you want to talk about how we handle violations?
Yes.
So,
Do we want to do that now? Let's go on. So we have it on here again. We have the violation procedure on lower than that. We'll walk
okay,
by
so we can do
that.
that if you like.
Yeah. So we'll just save that for then.
Sure.
Okay. So then we have architectural reviews right now. Let's see. I did get another one today that we have not been able to review. So the first one I have that came today that wasn't reviewed, it's 3433 Country Manor, and they wanted to replace windows. They were waiting for something from the window company, but they wanted to get it in before the next meeting. And they're just replacing the windows with vinyl windows. They're gonna be white outside like the one that's been replaced already. I can send this around. And the configurations of the windows are gonna be same that are in there right now. So they got a lot of sliding windows, and that's what they're gonna be in there. So if you guys wanna, it says, replace 6 windows and sliding glass door with PGT vinyl windows. Replace windows, 3 bedroom, 2 bathrooms, kitchen, and sliding glass door from kitchen to floor to room. All white windows. So if you wanna look, pass it to Ariel, and we can approve it. Do you want us to approve all of them or disapprove it together, or do you want us to do them
Unless
individually?
there's any objection, that you can either approve them as a group, or, single one out that's, approved with contingency, however you're used to doing it. I don't wanna change your system, however you're comfortable.
I think we do one of them, each
One
one.
at a time.
That way, because if we have one that's bad, then we
Right.
know.
Got it. I just need the house number off. Because that's one that's not on this list, is that correct?
Say that
Is
again.
this, I just need the street number. She
Oh,
hands it to you.
yes.
I didn't catch it.
And then you're gonna, you will let them know
Yeah.
that they, okay.
How do you notify them?
So sometimes by phone call, and other times we email them, or if you sign them, we'll email them the signed copy so they have it for the records. But oftentimes they're waiting to let their contractor know, so patients will call,
Okay.
right?
HOA meeting?
Did you sign that, Wendy?
Oh, I didn't sign it, I'm sorry.
433. So it is this one, they're just adding the windows? Okay, adding windows.
Replacing?
Says front yard to lamp post.
Well,
Yeah,
this
this
is,
is
good.
like-
It wasn't on there.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
additional.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
But
didn't
it's the
sign
same
it.
address.
Okay.
Okay. So it's the same
Same.
style of windows, same number of windows, they're just taking out one.
Yeah.
and putting another one. So-
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Why don't you sign it, send it back to Wendy, and I'll sign it again.
Just bring it in.
So then, the next one is 3455 Saddleback. They want to replace an entire roof. The shingle is certain TEED, T-E-E-D, landmark shingle, and moire black. And sent a picture, which is really hard to tell, of the picture. And then,
That's the house?
no, it's.
No, that's
roof.
what I thought, I'm like, we don't
Yeah.
have any houses.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I figured.
so. Any questions on that one? For the roof? All right, all in favor of the roof, sign that one.
Aye.
I,
Pass. In favor? Approved. And then, do you get the physical copy, Jill?
I'm missing faxing a paper?
Typically we do, we put it in the owner file.
Okay.
Should there be another,
Is there a way that I can get a copy? So sometimes in the
Yeah, she'll
neighborhood,
scan them in and we'll keep a file.
okay,
Of them.
can they email me, like the ones that are approved at the meeting? or-
Yeah, so you
Okay.
want them at the time of the meeting?
do you have?
So like after our meeting today,
You
if they
want
can,
these?
once they scan them, they can
Okay.
send me a copy,
Yeah.
email me. That way, if somebody has a question, that, hey, did they get an ARB, I can say I have it.
You have the page that we signed?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I do. Did you want it?
That's up
All
at
right.
some point.
3446 Country Manor. This is, you guys over here? Did you happen, did you happen to bring the real paint swatches?
Yeah, I actually do.
Yeah, can I have those, please?
Yeah,
When they come across on,
yeah, understandable. I had included the photos when I responded back, but yeah, understandable.
okay,
I haven't attached to my own copy, but
Okay.
that way you can
Yeah.
look through them.
okay,
This is the primary color, just white, and then two accents color, just as a way of tying in the roof we have is light gray,
Okay.
and the fence we have is the white and the tan,
Yeah.
so.
okay. So you want to paint the house white and
Yeah,
the
that's
trim
the
the
primary.
blue?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And did you want to see this
Yeah.
also?
Yes.
Pass that to them, please, thank you.
Oh, what is that?
Ariel, did you see the colors?
Yeah.
And just that brown one is the color of the fence, right?
Yeah, I was matching the fence is tan and white, and so the mailbox and the lamppost now are brown too. Just trying to tie in all those elements together.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions on the color? Ariel?
The blue is the only thing that I'm seeing with regards to the residential planning criteria.
The earth tones?
Correct, yes. I mean, let me find it.
More of a slate blue than a,
Where is it? So the exterior color plan, all exterior colors are to be earth tones. Earth tone considered a color scheme that draws from the color palette of browns, tans, warm grays, and greens. Color and earth tone scheme are muted and flat and an emulation of natural colors found in dirt, moss, trees, and rocks. So that's
so we're not seeing that.
that's the only thing that I'm not seeing, correct?
Okay. Okay, do you have another, like, blue, because the earth tones, the blue does not fit into the earth tone
Oh,
scheme?
okay. I read that and I had trouble understanding, honestly, the distinction. Just because, like, the color scheme I picked out is the exact same as 3489 Country Walk and 3454 Saddleback. So I thought, well,
Yeah.
surely it must comply, given it's, that
Yeah.
cool gray color. It's, the color of our roof. And it's the other houses that I just mentioned have that primary white, that gray-blue accent color. And, there's some other houses too that were just painted last year. One is bright blue, one's robin's egg blue. So I wasn't sure really what blues are acceptable and which aren't.
So,
Yeah.
oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
So 3489 is that one. That one's been that color for ages, and I believe the when the residential planning criteria was updated, I believe it was in 2019 actually. That's when that's when that color scheme, yes,
Oh, okay.
2019, that's when that color scheme was updated. So you're correct, yes, but
Okay.
there was an updating on the color scheme. The other property, you said
Well,
one
like
on
a
Saddleback?
3453 Martingale is bright blue. So, that's a primary color, and it was painted last year. I don't know if it
I don't
really.
know if they ever
showed
got
up.
an ARB. Some of them do it without the ARB,
Oh,
and then we
well,
have to,
obviously, we're trying to follow the
Yes.
rule. And I'm in a tough spot, because our house now is like blue.
yeah.
And so our roof is like a light gray blue. So I'm trying to tie together these different
Yeah.
elements and find something that's gonna look nice.
So-
So what kind of blues then, if you can give me some guidance?
So- I don't want to speak out of
Okay,
place.
sorry.
So, I mean, obviously, we don't want to tell you, well, we have to, we have to follow the rules. So
Well,
what the,
that's what I'm
what,
trying
yeah,
to do.
so what the rules say is that you can pick any color that's representative of earth tones. So it would be
So
the,
more
it would be
More gray.
browns, grays. If you can pick up a rock, or you can pick up a piece of grass, or pick a piece of dirt, and match it to it, or you can tell me, it's like, oh,
I
yeah.
was following the neighborhood rules, but I guess they're just enough grandfathered in.
Yeah.
So if I could just, the one on Saddleback,
Yeah.
our house was the exact same color, and when we changed it, we were going to,
Our house is blue right now.
right, we were going to do it the same color, but again, it had been, it was that color prior to the change. So when we decided to paint, we couldn't go with the same color, because we wanted to just keep it in the same color that it already was, which was the same color that's on Saddleback right now. So in essence, when those folks decide to paint, that one will not be,
Yeah, it was just painted
Accepted.
last year.
No, no,
So
not the
it
one on
was
Saddleback.
2019.
not the one on Saddleback. That one's been, you're talking about the brighter
Oh,
blue.
Yeah, the bright blue one on
Yeah.
Martingale was just painted last year.
Right. But I'm just saying the one on Saddleback,
Yeah, yeah.
when it comes, if they ever decide to change the color, it won't be that, because we couldn't do it. We were gonna paint ours the same that it had been originally.
And if it
So-
was painted without an arc, one of two things can happen. The board can opt to take legal action and have them repaint it, or they can stop the
Right.
set, when they go to sell it, they'll have to paint it before it's sold.
Okay, so I'll have to try to find another color, but the problem is I'm trying to make the house look great
Yeah.
and put it on the market so we can move.
Oh, no, you're not moving.
Yeah.
So, like, I can send you, because by next month I need to have this done. So if I submit another color to Ms. Fuller here, we can
Yeah.
still get this approved and I can still start painting this month,
Yeah,
because that's the
if we
problem.
get, if we get a different color that it matches.
Is
But-
the white okay? I mean, there
Well-
are a lot of white houses in the neighborhood too, and I.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be, but they are, because it's not an earth tone, but,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Yes.
also just trying to match a fence and a roof, so it looks
Right.
good. I'm in between a rock and a hard place.
yes.
You said you have gray in the roof, it said it's like a bluish gray?
It's a light blue gray, and the fence
So-
is whitened up.
If, would you, something maybe a little grayer, I guess, the-
My stepdad was a professional house painter in Palm Beach, so like, I know house colors, I know just design, and, I worked really hard to pick out these colors, so, I mean, I'll go back to the drawing board here, but it's a very limited, palette, thank you, yeah.
Because if you can get a physical sample to Jill, then we're gonna have to actually see a physical sample, because it's funny, because when it came through, it was totally wrong colors from when I got it. So we have to see the physical sample from,
Okay, so,
unless you want to drop it off at my house, I can disperse it to them too.
okay, it just feels so arbitrary when all the houses in the neighborhood look
I know,
a
and
certain
that's because some of
way.
them do
It
without
is-
an
Now
ARB.
it's
and
very
some-
hard to find something that's gonna look good.
And at one point, the board was accepting the online pictures, and then they were not the same when they went to paint them.
So all the colors are technically not compliant?
Well, that doesn't look like a stark white. That almost looks like a creamier white.
Yeah.
So I,
Okay.
rocks.
So creamy,
They're
creamy,
white, yeah.
tan white,
Yeah.
okay.
I
What
don't
do you
have a
say?
problem with that.
I don't have a
that
problem
white.
with the creamier
Okay.
color,
White.
yeah.
The creamier rock, Correct, that would be
More
something,
slate.
that first one,
More
which is a
slate.
main,
Okay.
you could
There's-
hold up a rock and say, yeah, this matches.
There's a
Right.
house on this down there, and it looked like they painted the Florida stone, and that's got that slate blue to it.
Yeah,
Something like, it's really dark, maybe you could get a lighter tone of it or
yeah,
something.
that's definitely a
But that-
refresh.
but yeah.
Yeah, okay, so we'll go a little bit more slate,
slate
I'll get
in
that
it.
to you this,
Yeah.
by the end of this week.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Just a second color then, we'll find something a little more gray in it.
Yeah.
Well, they're saying everything's been gray colored in, I guess, over the years. Doesn't matter. Okay.
So, we're not gonna approve this one yet, and I'm not gonna deny it today. I'll wait until you bring a sample to me. Okay, 3463 Country Walk.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, if I'm not there, just put it in my planter underneath a stone or something.
I'll email it,
Yeah.
I'll email it.
Yeah,
That'd be
but then
easier.
a physical copy we'll need.
Oh, physical, okay.
Yeah,
All right,
because when it emails, it doesn't always come out right,
yeah, all right.
so. I'm sorry. All right, so we'll hold that one off, then we'll see when we get that. Marjorie.
Yay!
Yay. 3483 Country Walk. She wants to paint her
82 or
house.
34,
3482, is that what I said?
83.
It is
Okay.
now.
82. The brain fog. All right, she wants to paint the house green, pass these off the trim. And then, if I gather right, this is the garage door and this is the front door.
No, just the.
So I have these two colors.
Yeah.
And then,
Oh, this is the brown. So I was trying to match the color of the gutters, but they're not changing. I was just trying to, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
So it says the garage screen bronze is the same color, so you're gonna
Right,
paint.
it was kind of like
Okay.
this color.
And then
I couldn't,
the front door is
is this.
this color, okay? So, color for you,
Yeah, I'm into
color for
wicked.
you, and
They're into
then,
what?
Wicked.
okay. Then this is the color of the front door, and then this garage screen door will be same color.
Yeah, because it's like faded, so they're gonna do the screen. It's whatever, that bronzy
I think
brown
it-
gutter color.
And where's that going?
I got
It's not
five.
going anywhere.
Oh,
It's already
okay.
there.
It's already
It's
there.
already there,
Oh,
I just was,
okay.
I
The
was
garage
just trying to
screen.
match it.
Wow.
All right, we got a lot of these.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
the house would be green, it's
Yeah,
gonna
I'm not
be
gonna-
white. And then we're gonna green.
All right, any questions on that?
Nope.
Approve that one, approve?
That's 3482.
Yes.
In favor.
In favor, all in favor, aye. All right. So, do you want
Usually
to
have
give
six
this
of
to
them.
Jill to put in there? And then I'm going to give you these back. Okay?
And then you got the window one too, right?
I'm
Is that one
sorry.
next?
Maybe that was in this pile. So, oh,
Exterior replacement windows?
that's, okay. For the windows, we do not, did you bring anything of the, what you're going to put in? Like, it just says single replacement. Windows, middle window for the picture window, solid, update for the hurricane energy. Is it the same color? What's,
It's gonna be, the bronze, it's still the bronze. But the house has like up and down windows and slider windows, so they're all gonna be up and down.
okay. Single hung replacement windows, middle window will be
It's not
picture
gonna be
window.
a little bit, a picture window, but then there's those bay windows on the side, and they'll go up and down.
All right, so do we want to put on here that it's bronze? Can you write the bronze color on there for me?
Oh. Bronze color. Did you want this back or?
Did you write that on there?
Yep.
Okay, anybody have any questions on that then, the windows?
No.
You're good?
So I already know it's gonna be like 8 weeks, and it said on there that it's gonna be good for 4. So what do I do? How do I get an extension?
From the moment you start work. So what that's designed to do is so that you don't start work, say, replacing half your windows, and then the other half takes
6 months.
6 months, right? So so the house is not in the middle of the project.
I think she thought that the arc expired.
No.
That her approval expired. That's-
No,
Because
once-
I know, because they already told me it's gonna be 8 weeks to get it
start.
ordered. No,
Yes.
to get it ordered,
Oh,
to
yeah.
get it.
That's for something, let's say you get an architectural review for an addition, and you start the work on the addition, you start framing and everything, and then the contractor stops work for 3 months or whatever, 6 months, and you have a half-done project. That's what's been done.
And I have another one for 3444? Or 3433 Country Manor. We did the
34,
windows.
46?
3433 Country Manor.
34, 33, did you say?
Oh, okay, that's
Wasn't that
the,
the
country.
first one? you
Yep.
had? Oh, but
Yes,
this is
it's-
yet another, okay.
yep.
Yeah, I didn't have them put together. They want to replace their lamp post and their garage lights. They have lights on the garage side. She sent a picture. This is gonna be the lamp post. The light on the lamp post.
Yes.
And she did the measurements of the post. And here's the lamp post. And it is 80 inches high, but we got 14 inches in the ground and then that. So I think you're the math guy.
How did that get that time?
Because my brain ain't working that way today.
So it's
creative
80 inch.
It's gotta be between 4 and 6 feet.
Yeah, so it's about
6 is
5
72,
inches.
right? 6 is 72 inches?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
6,
Oh, yeah.
70, 14
And then-
bucks,
I could've
so
done that.
70, 66. So
And then I
60
don't
inches
have
is
the
5
measurement
feet.
of this.
60 inches is 5 feet, so
Yeah.
80
So it's 5
inches
feet.
definitely.
But I didn't get the measurement of this, but I don't think it's gonna exceed, so. Alright, so then these are the lights she wants to put on the side of the garage. Alright, anybody have any questions on that?
They were both okay.
Those were all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye. Yes.
Sign the bottom and pass it
Those
along.
might be shorter. It's like 3 or 4 feet, and 6 feet.
So they look kind of funny when they're too tall, so I think,
And we've had
yeah, you got, yeah,
I
like
think-
stumps, yeah.
3455 Saddleback, we did that for the roof, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Alright, so I got an extra one. And I have 3433 Country Walk. I don't have paint swatches.
Is that one that,
It's Sandra Lalasa.
the casa.
Casa, is that okay? See, Casa.
Should be a C.
3432 Country Walk. I do not have paint swatches for that. She wants to paint a herring gray and a shark skin color. All she did was send that. So we have to,
Was that one on the agenda? Or was that last
no,
week?
I don't see it on
that
here.
came in to February 2nd.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen it yet.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
My take is that
Don't need the
all the
swatches.
other homeowners have been went ahead and brought in the paint
Yeah.
swatches, we need the paint
We need-
swatches on the
yeah.
requirement.
So do we want to deny it until we get the paint swatches?
Yep.
They're not here today, right? Okay. So we'll just deny it until, we get paint swatches.
Yep.
Physical paint swatches.
You said physical, right?
Yeah,
Physical.
physical.
And I think that concludes all our ARBs.
Did we do 3446?
Which one is
Yes.
it?
Okay,
That's contingent,
okay.
that's the, folks here for the baby.
Oh, okay.
We need the paint swatch. Good.
46.
Yeah.
Okay.
3446,
We
okay.
didn't deny it, we're just
Right.
waiting for the paint swatch.
Just gonna switch out.
Right. They happen to be here, so we need to.
Thank you.
We didn't have any unfinished business, but I forgot. We do, because you guys were gonna do a, update on the tree.
Well, right, because we are moving, I wasn't sure if you wanted us to take the straps down, would we do that in April, late April, early May? Or if you'd like, ideally probably to keep them on a little bit longer, according to the internet research we did, so that I just pass over that responsibility to somebody, so I know that we take care
Do you
of
need
it.
those stakes back? Do you need those stakes
No,
back?
not at all.
I would say-
We donated those to the community, we just want to make sure, over a year, the tree might start to get strangled, but ideally the strap should stay up for 6 months to a year, just so it has ample time to really put its roots down.
I would say they could, I would say they could take the straps, I've got some extra stakes, whenever they,
If you need those straps, then,
No, we don't need
no.
any of that, I just, didn't want them to stay on forever.
Okay.
So I just wanted to pass that responsibility on, or we can take them down.
Okay. We can take that responsibility then. We can leave it as is, they don't need the equipment back. And then we'll just keep an eye on it and take it down. And you say take it down like when?
They say online 6 months to a year,
Okay.
ideally, to leave it, enough time.
To settle?
It has been very dry so far, so I
Yeah.
hesitate to take it down this soon. So
But it's looking good, it's still.
It really
yeah.
is.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing that, it
Yeah.
does look really nice.
you don't wanna give it back.
They said they don't need them back. Yeah, they donated them to the community, so.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very
You're all
much.
good to take
Yeah.
responsibility of
Yeah.
that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I just wanna make sure that you don't want your straps back, okay,
Yeah.
And I think it still needs it a little longer.
Yeah.
okay.
So are you moving closer to Titusville?
No, we're moving on to a boat.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, we're just working hard by April to get the house ready to list and start moving things and probably, late April, early May, so. just
Wow.
wanted to tie it-
Fun,
Yeah, absolutely.
fun. All right, well, thank you for all your work on that, thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
And then, okay.
Is the owner's form now, because we had one order of business too to ask, I know Barney here has an order of business on the owner's form.
Owner's form it should be the last
Oh,
thing.
all right, well, thank you. We'll look at
Okay,
that.
thank you. I just remember that was an unfinished business and I didn't
Oh,
put it
I
on there.
appreciate it, thank you.
Okay.
Unless you wanna agree.
You don't want to move it
Huh?
up. You can go out of order so that you don't have to stay.
Okay, if you want, we can move that up. They said we can move that up so you don't have to stay.
We're here just to understand if our account is okay. I had asked it via email, but I know it was too soon, and I don't do online banking, so I wasn't sure if we get like a account balance or a quarterly statement, or how to find out that everything's okay.
Right, in approximately 1 week, I should be able to have the accurate update, so if you give me about 5 to 7 more days.
Okay. Sounds
If
great.
I don't have the answer, I'll ask accounting to check it.
Okay, that's all.
Assuming your sales.
Did you pay to Century or to South
I
Atlantic?
got the Century coupons first, so, and we didn't pay for the whole year knowing that we were gonna leave, but I just wanna make sure we should be good through April for the quarterly.
Okay,
And then for the special assessment, that was completely paid in full.
okay, April and assessment paid, I'll check for you.
Okay,
Okay.
wonderful. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Anybody else on the open forum?
Right here,
Yes, your name, sir?
Myron Seneff, and you're who?
Jill Fuller.
Okay, somewhere between Century and you, somebody ain't telling what's going on. Because I paid my payment to Century back on December the 15th. I was credited on the 16th. They swear and be damned that they sent it to you and you don't show it.
That's okay, I understand.
And I've been checking and checking, and everybody promises that all of this is taken care of, but it's not being taken care of. You know, a computer, it only takes about 15 seconds to do something, you know, and nothing's been done. So since you're here, I'm telling you that I'd like to see something done, okay?
Yeah.
It's, if you did take the $25 late fee off, that's some kind of blessing, I guess.
That's just auto-generated though, so
Yeah.
they would all been removed anyhow.
Okay.
So
So
I
anyhow, that's very upsetting. We're going through this.
I think you may have missed at the very beginning, I kind of made a somewhat of an announcement that it is going to be inaccurate for about another week or so, and it's frustrating, and it obviously gets some people upset.
You know,
But
since
it'll be
since
cleared up.
December of last year,
Yeah, I understand.
it's
Right,
a long way away.
I understand.
Okay, moving on. I called you to talk to you about the tree out back. You said you were gonna stop by and take a look at that.
Yep, I did. And I went down
Okay.
back, and there was a big mess down in that swale. And then I was away, and went down and took some pictures, and I was discussing it with Ariel and Wendy, and that we need to discuss it with the lawn crew, because how come they've been down there mowing and not doing anything about it?
Okay.
So
well,
that's on-
The tree actually has got some other problems too, where the hurricanes come through and busted off limbs, and big limbs busted off up the top. There's a piece hanging up, one or two pieces hanging up in there that need to come down, and another piece going back out over the valley out back there. That should be trimmed off. So the tree actually needs more work than just to get the stuff out of the ditch.
But the tree also, to me, I think if the tree I'm thinking of, it looked like it was actually on somebody's property,
It's on yours.
but it's on ours.
Common area.
Okay. It looked like- And then it looked like somebody was cutting some trees up and just stacking stuff in there from one of the trees. It was on the other side of the
So
fence.
is it lawn enforcement that you use? Do they do tree trimming also?
They're supposed to.
Okay. What's your address, sir?
3448 Country Manor Drive.
I'll take care of it.
That's not what I wanted.
So-
So I had some pictures of those.
The assessments, you made your last payment last year on December 16th, or right
I
about
made it on the 15th, and it was credited to the account on the 16th.
on the 16th. So, what's, in her defense, or an explanation, Century has been real slow to hand over those financial records. And so until they can hand over the financial records showing that everybody made their payment, then their system is saying, okay, January 1st came around, here's the assessment, we don't show a balance, and so that's why it's showing it on their website. Now, I went ahead and I downloaded as much information as I could from Century before the end of the year last year, and I'm looking at your account, and I see your check of $85. So we know that your payment is there.
Right.
It just recently, like within the last couple of days, they got the information from Century and they're trying to upload it to the system.
Well, about
So
a week-
your payment is there.
A
Your
week or
money's there.
so ago, I got tired of this rigmarole running around, so I talked to management over there in the finance department, and I said, I want something in writing from you, so I do have an email from them from about a week or 10 days ago that said this money has been forwarded to you.
Yeah.
And so
Okay.
therefore, you know, like I said, we're in a computer age, and it only takes about 15 seconds to run the credit through. I'd like to see something done,
Okay,
okay?
got it. No problem.
And I get online, and I finally managed to get in there where I can sign into my patient portal with you folks and check my balances. And, you know, as of yesterday, we're still moving.
Well, I'm not in a position to explain that it's just not one button to push on a computer, but I understand your frustration, and tomorrow morning I will make sure that they reflect it, okay?
You know,
I mean, the $25 that you and I talked about, that's just auto-generated by the computer. So that was one button to get rid of, right? But just give me a day or two and it'll be gone.
Okay.
Okay.
And,
Let's-
other than that, there is no,
But back to this tree, Linda, were you saying that it's not in a common area?
There's a common area, it's a swale.
Okay.
But one of the trees looks like somebody cut up some tree, it was on their side of the fence, cut it up
Dumped it over.
and put it on our side. There's also other branches that are down there, and there's a fence that's down and everything. There's a lot of information, there's a lot of,
So you want me to talk to law enforcement about the cleanup and the trimming of the tree and see what they have to say about that?
they probably won't trim that tree up there. We did have some hurricane damage, and I did hire a tree company, but I did not know about this until after that tree
Are
company
you
was.
happy with that tree company?
Yes.
Who are they?
It's SB Tree Service.
Okay, well. we can do
But
seven
I look
with
it down here and I just don't understand how the lawn service is mowing through here.
Yeah, I'll talk to them about that.
they just go around it.
Yeah,
apparently.
probably so.
But anyway, it's been there since the last hurricane.
I just sent you the
And it ripped
pictures.
the limb off and blew it across the valley and it's up against
Yeah.
the other side. And there's other, even from previous, there's a limb that's broken off and it's hanging up in there. And it needs done. S&B came by and they did my big tree. And when they saw that there was a limb or two that was hanging over the property line, they said, well, since it's on your property line and on your side, we can trim that. So I said, go for it.
Yeah, it sounds like the association also hired them, so they probably should have just grabbed it anyhow, but I'll get a hold of them.
Okay, but I don't think anybody, they haven't been back there,
No.
because it's.
I mean, they did a lot on the swale that goes from the lake over to Sauls. They did there. They did over on behind your area, behind Saddleback and Sauls. They did all that. But, I mean, I look at this house right here and there's all this overgrown on the fence that some of it's on both sides. It's now coming from one side of the fence to the other and nobody's taking care of it. So we gotta figure out who's responsible for that.
It's a matter of curiosity. When you look out across the valley from my backyard over someplace, the neighbor that's got the two-story house over there, he had a blue and red flashing Christmas light, and it just flashed, and it shined right through my back windows coming in. So when I'm sitting on my couch watching my TV, I either have to sit that way or this way because it comes right through. But for some reason, it's changed, and I just figured after Christmas is over. But there's another one over there someplace coming from that side. It's blue and red or purple, bright purple, and it flashes constantly. So I don't know.
Is it in the front of the house, or do
I
you look
don't
at the
know.
back of their
I've
house?
thought about it, I can see it when I'm out in the kitchen and all the lights are out, I can see it over there. I'm not sure where it's coming from. I thought about going over on the other street to see where it's coming from, and whether it would be the nice neighbor just asking if they could stop doing that.
Yeah. Why don't you do this, if you can identify where it's coming from and then call me with the address, let me be the person that talks to them
Be
about
the
it.
bad guy.
Yeah,
Okay. But anyhow, I just thought, well, for the last, whatever, for Christmas
Yeah.
lights, I just, I could sit on one end of the
Tolerate
couch
it,
and the
yeah.
other, tolerate it. But anyhow, I just thought I'd ask if there's some kind of solution to that other than me being the bad
no, I'd
guy.
be happy to talk to them. They might not even be aware that it's flashing in your.
Probably not.
Yeah. But I'll be happy to do that.
Okay.
Just give me a call.
Other than that,
Yeah.
things are moving right along.
Yeah.
Street sweeper comes by real regular.
Mhm.
I can't understand that.
That's the city.
Yes.
Carolyn, for owner's forum, you might as well jump in.
Yes, I want to give you an update on metal roofing. I finally got a brochure that looks like it would be something that I would like. And I don't know the color yet, but they gave me an address of a house that has the physical roof on it. I just haven't had the chance to go over there and take a photo. So I'm going, when I actually see a physical house with the roof that I like,
Okay.
or a roof that would be acceptable in color-wise, I'll bring all that information to the board.
Okay.
Because I keep reiterating, the age of metal roofs is coming.
Mhm.
And I know you're not yet into that approval, but I think it would be nice to be able to have that choice if the people want to spend the extra
Yeah.
money, but that it complies with the country rustic idea, all that.
Yeah.
Because I would change my house from country rustic, that's what I love, that's
Yeah.
what I built there. So I understand what you're doing. And honestly, our community looks better than so many that are a lot younger than ours, and it's because of what you do.
Yeah.
I am willing to join your group as a board member.
Okay.
I don't want to be an officer, I don't want to take notes, but since I've been enjoying coming,
Mhm.
I'd be interested. What, are there just 3 of you on the board?
There's just 3 of us. Mhm.
You could use another hot body.
Well, we need to have an odd number,
Oh,
so
I
we
see.
need to have,
Unless you abstain from voting.
Yeah.
I remember when I was president, I always abstained from voting, that's what I did. So that I wouldn't take sides with anybody, because you have to live in the same community
Yeah.
you're working in. So that would be an option. Can you let me know if you're interested? I
Okay.
am.
yeah, we will let you know. We'll discuss it and check it out.
If you need a resume, I can provide it, whatever.
Okay, so that's it for open forum, we're good?
Can I ask you a question? You were doing the, kind of like a neighborhood watch
Yes.
thing too. I'm sure you've noticed South Daytona has signs,
Yes,
and I've been made aware that Port Orange doesn't do that.
that's what we have assumed.
Assumed.
But now that we see it physically on another place, I'll take a photo and I'll go to the police department, our police department, because I did that the last time. And now we have a more physical thing to show them, and we'll see if we can get something like
Yeah.
that. Are you in favor of having doing that?
Yeah.
It would be aesthetically
Yeah.
okay with
And
you?
it's, and the thing is, those signs are on the signs owned by South Daytona.
Yes.
Right.
We did have signs there, but they said they were on the city property, and we could not allow them on the city
Well, I'm
property.
gonna take photos of what, they only went up very recently.
Yes.
And I have a very sick friend in the hospital, and that's where I'm spending all my free time, but I'll make a moment when I'm coming and going to take a photo. I think they have them on the stop signs if I'm.
Yeah,
not
they
Well, I
did.
took a picture this morning, yes, and it was on it, it was on a stop sign.
Yeah.
I saw the one that was on, off of Sauls that had
I like it.
everything.
I like
But
it.
then a stop sign further down by where that mansion is
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Sauls.
big mansion, yeah.
And then you go over to that residential,
Thought I had a
there's
picture
a
of that.
stop sign that has it on there
Well, do
too.
you plan on going to? the-
Well, I didn't know if you knew more about it, I
No,
could, it doesn't,
I don't yet. Yeah.
it doesn't matter, I can check it out, or if you wanna check it
You
out,
have it
or,
on your phone now.
I have a
so
photo,
go
right.
ahead and do-
Okay,
do
I'll take care of
that.
it,
In the meantime, I'm working on the metal roof research.
okay.
And, as I said, if you want to have me, another down on the board, I'd be happy to look at it.
Yeah, because we're still getting a lot of solicitors around, they're just leaving things, they're not actually knocking on the
Well, I
doors.
think those solicitations signs about my doorbell, nobody's bothering me anymore. But if we have that sign on stuff, we really have cloud check.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Question on your metal roof, you talked about raised ridge metal roof.
Don't know yet, I'm looking at a lot of options, it has to blend in with our rustic logo.
There's all kinds of terminology out there that got your guidelines. This is all been done. Plagiarized is still
If we do, we wanted to make it look like a sugar roof.
Yeah, they have that too.
Yeah, why would you want to change the
All right, so we're gonna move on to our new business. Okay, we have, I think we discussed the transfer of late accounts to the collection company, and how we're doing that.
Anyway, thank you all.
Have a
Thank
nice
you.
evening.
Did you have a chance to follow up with what I told you about this morning?
Not yet, I can have it, and I was discussing it with them earlier.
Oh, okay, you want to hear me?
Yeah.
Bring it up?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. All right, so how are we handling the ones that are, there's 2 of them, one of them was had the,
Where are we? Are we doing
new
that?
business?
She has, this is she has the updated version,
Oh, okay.
and that's why they're, and I was
Well, I
looking at
have
it
the other
too.
one too, I brought them both.
okay,
So where are we?
new business?
Okay, transfer of late accounts.
Yeah,
So I'm glad that's really good to have on here. So what the board needs to decide, we'll put it in the minutes, is typically at whatever your docs dictate is how it's, like if it's late on the 10th, the stroke of midnight, our computer is gonna start generating late fees, and that's exactly what happened at in, right? So just prove it, put it on there, because that information's already been put on.
Yeah.
So after 30 days, they can get a 30-day letter, they can get a reminder when it's late, and then there's what we call a 30-day letter and a 45-day letter, which is state dictated before it can go into the lien. What we need for you to decide is between the 10th, the day it's late, and I'm just using an example, it might say something other than your dogs, and the time we turn it over to collection, how many days late do you want them to be? You know, that's really your decision. I don't know if your community has a usual suspects list, they're always late, or if it's, no one's ever late, so if someone's late, then we need to.
So technically, the account is late if it's not paid by the due date.
Right.
It's still.
There's no grace,
period.
okay,
There's no
beautiful,
grace.
okay.
Where was what I sent Phoebe? So it's late as of past the due date, it's late.
Late, okay.
Okay. Now, what our bylaws say is that if it's not paid within 15 days after the due date, so they get 15 days after the due date,
There we go.
at those 15 days, they get a $25 late fee.
Right, that's,
So-
all right.
So technically, it's late, it's delinquent, but they have a $25, I'm sorry, they have a 15-day
15-day grace.
grace.
That's
until-
costing them $25.
Correct. In order to be able to do that, there has to be a written notice. A written notice shall be given to members whose accounts are 5 days past due. So they have to be
They
given.
have to have a
some-
5-day letter before they can even be taxed the $25. Is
Right,
that
so
right?
they have 15 days after the due date, they get charged the $25. But they have to have some type of a reminder saying, hey, you didn't pay your account.
Before
and
the 15th day.
Correct.
Okay,
Okay.
yes.
And then, if they still don't pay it, so now they have the $25 late fee. If now we come up to 30 days past delinquency date, now the interest rate of 10%
Understandable.
starts.
So at that time, we're trying to turn the clock on with the state requirements, right? So we're gonna start ticking on off about when they get that first letter and that second letter. At what point, because that essentially can buy them 75 days,
So
but
you're
they
talking
can,
about the NOLA letter.
yes,
Okay.
right, the no and then the intent to lien, right? So
Right.
those are those two things. Some associations are very, very strict. If we don't have it by the 20th, turn them over, right? Others are, we want them to be at least a certain dollar amount late, or we want them to be a certain time, like 3 to 6, 3 to 4 months late.
Are we
That's
turning
for
it
you
over
to decide.
to the Axela? To the collection?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So,
It depends on how stringent you want to be, right? But I need for you to tell us that.
so the NOLA letter is handled by Axela, or?
It can be, or it can be handled in-house. And Excel is like
If
on
it's
it,
handled
and I'm here to
in-house,
tell you that
we
we are,
pay that fee.
what's
And
that?
if it's handled in-house, we pay that fee
No,
and hopefully get it back from the homeowner.
no, if we've, in my lifetime, we've always done, we call them 30 and 40-day letters, because NOLA, intensely, or whatever. We've always done those in-house. Some associations, they just turn it over to the attorney, and they can bill to do the 30s and the 45 days. Then you kind of have you're vulnerable to get an attorney's fees, because they don't really can attach it if they pay it, so. It's going down that rabbit hole, I don't have to go down. We prefer that once it's late, that we turn it over to Axela, and they handle it from that 30-day letter out, okay? Whether they get the 30-day letter on the 20th or the 25th day past due, does that make sense? Because they're gonna track it so stringently, it's gonna be boom, 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 boom. And we're just, honestly, we're using this third-party company because we don't have the staff or the ability to track it, and it gets a little away from us, right? So who's the association's losing out because days are ticking off before we get those in. You see what I'm saying?
So you're suggesting that Axela handle the NOLA letter,
Once
and
we
we
turn it
just-
over, they're gonna have to start that clock in.
and we just decided when to hand it over
Right.
to them?
We will send out statements, we can generate, you're late statements, right? So, I just need you to say, I need you to decide when you want them, as a rule, turned over. So there's gonna be one-offs that we're gonna say, do you want us to turn this one over? But if you just give me a blanket, if they're,
When does Axela start charging them that $400?
The minute it walks in, the minute it goes to their office, same thing with an attorney. So the reason why we went to Axela, one, we learned about them from an association that we took over management, we saw how well it worked. Okay. Secondly, because we manage a lot of properties, we notice when we turn them over to collection attorneys, no matter how good or not the attorney is, it's the same thing. They attach that $350, $400 fee the minute it walks in the door, but it goes down this black hole. So then I go to a meeting and my board says, where are we on those collections? And I'm asking the attorney, where are we on those collections? And it just goes on and on and on. Axela is very productive in getting the money.
So if we turn it over on that 15th day,
Yeah, that's
they're
a little-
automatically getting charged
That's a little
$400 plus
premature,
their.
in my opinion. But some associations, and like I mentioned many times, I do a lot of condos, they're stern. So they're like, if it's not here by the 11th day, turn it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That doesn't have to be the case for you. And you don't have to tell me right now, I just need you all to be thinking about it. When it gets turned over.
What's your opinion?
Think about it,
Yeah, give it some thought.
yeah. let's give it
And
some thought.
honestly, it would probably be good to let us kind of see where it stands and how many, I mean, how are your past dues? Are there many or few, or is it the same ones over and over, or the
Well,
ones
we
that have
have
been
one
years?
that's,
You take over associations and have past dues
We-
for years.
we have the one that owes us about
Years.
$4,000, and he's going up
needs
for
to
that
go.
tax.
Yeah.
So we can't turn
Oh,
him
that's
over,
right,
he's got
that
the
guy.
tax.
Yeah.
Then we have another one that's has a lien, can we turn that one over?
I think so. We had two that were just down that black hole that we
If
had.
we can turn, because that
Yes.
lien was filed by, I think it was Seminole County, not even Volusia.
Yeah. Oh, okay, good.
And, I would like that one turned over.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we can also do it case by case if you guys want to, but see, in my opinion, none of them should get to the $4,000 mark, ever. Ever, right?
Agreed.
Yeah, so maybe,
Those are, this is as of January 7th, when I was able to download it from
Right.
Century. Those are the biggest three.
I see.
This one's with the attorney,
It's not terrible.
this one's with lien, and this one, I don't think anything's done.
But what is, remind me what the association fee is.
85 a quarter.
But that's, you know, so, I mean, if it was me, he'd be going, 400, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, but I think because of the few number of them, that we may just handle it case by case. I could say, moving forward, hey, we reached out to this guy, we've sent letters, with your permission, we're gonna turn it over to him, so how about we do that?
What's
For
your
now,
opinion?
we can do that?
I like that idea,
Yeah.
for now.
'Cause it's not like you have, 10 or 12, so it's,
I like to have a set procedure done, so it's
Yes, yeah,
automatic
yeah.
for
I
you guys,
understand. Right.
you know what to do, and
Right.
you know what to expect.
right.
So I like to have something where it's like, okay, such a time frame goes by, tick, you guys do what you have to do. I think, however, with that said, I think in the future, that would be great. I think until all the accounts get established
Of
and we
course.
see who's
Of
actually
course, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
past due, we could handle it we can
Case
think
by
about it,
case.
Yeah.
Think about it.
and we can go ahead and we can handle
When
it
you're
case
doing
by
that, there's
case.
something I want you to think about. What we found with some of the attorneys that we inherited, association attorneys, you guys have an $85 a quarter fee, right? They say, oh, we're not gonna do anything for less than like a $500, has $1,000 sometimes, $1,500. Well, think about the math on that, right? To me, there has to be some type of repercussion or punishment to the person that's not paying when all their neighbors are.
Yeah.
So you don't make that be the thing, make it hurt, because then they won't do it again,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I pay my bills. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't like past dues, obviously. I don't like past dues.
No. I don't
So
like
I'm
it, but I'm
thinking, I
paying
don't
mine,
have-
and
I
everybody
mean, I
else
have-
isn't.
If there's situations, I do have empathy, I get that,
Yeah.
but the ones that don't, I don't know, worry about that. So,
Yeah.
but just think about it, and I think for maybe even the first many months, we could just do it case by case, because there's gonna be I didn't know we changed.
Well, what
or
about the
sending it
ones
to-
that are,
Yeah, we need to.
that
fix
are longer,
those.
that have been in there that owe us?
Yeah.
Can we
So-
go ahead and tell them, or are we gonna wait on those?
Right, so
The
we have
longer ones.
3 accounts. I guess
Right.
Yeah.
those-
part of the agenda that we're on is these 3 accounts, and I believe, yes, so it's these 3 that I
Right.
just showed you. So one of them is already with the
The-
foreclosure
the
issue.
tax.
So
The tax thing,
Yeah.
it's done.
So we can't even
Can't
consider
touch
that?
it.
Okay. So then we would have the
There's-
next largest past due amount, which, again, it's probably more than what I'm showing here, but as of January 7th, Century was showing $1,303.67.
Yeah.
And that one has a lien on it, as
With
far
an
as I know.
attorney.
No, it was just filed in Seminole County.
Oh.
Because when I talked to DeMassey, they did not have it. They had to search and find it in Seminole County.
Okay, so let me ask Axela about that. I'll find out about what we can do about that.
Okay.
And then
The other ones
the
are-
next largest one, the third one below that, would be $402.15. Now, again, I don't know how accurate these are, if they've made
Right.
payments since then, or if it's gone up, but that's as of January 7th. So I guess,
So that's something I would reach out to them and say, we show that you have a balance, and we would make them prove that they paid it. But that, in my opinion, is one that would go.
Okay.
But let's get some information on those two first, before we do it.
On the
The
$1,000
one that's
and the
the Seminole
4,000.
County one and the 400.
Yes. Can we reach out to them and see where they stand? Prove that, and if not, then would we agree to send that to collection?
Yes,
I would think so.
I would.
Yes.
Okay.
400's what, 2 years, is my math right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
2.5 years?
Well, the one of them, the one that's $1,000, I think that's also has some fees
Yeah.
for fining
Yeah.
on it. And without the fining and no assessments, they didn't pay the special assessment.
Do you find that these three, or one of these three, are also consistently on violation? It just goes hand in hand.
Yeah. What's your opinion?
so the one with Seminole County, you would have to find out if Axela would take it, right? Okay. And the one with 400 and change dollars, that one's just ready.
We want to make sure that, I would probably reach out to them first. But why
So-
would it be filed in Seminole County? I mean,
I think because that's where Century,
That's where
Office
Century
was.
was, right, their home
I
base.
think I have a copy of that.
Yeah, you
So-
sent it to me, Linda, now it's coming back to me.
I
You
would-
sent it to me. I think you did.
Yeah.
Because I asked you that before about Seminole.
I would be willing to go ahead and, I would suggest if we can make a decision or a vote now with a contingency that if Axela tells you that, yeah, the one that's in Seminole County, they can go ahead and take, then
Yes.
you could move forward. And the one that's 400 and ish dollars, if they haven't paid or they can't provide proof of payment, then you also move forward. That, something like that, so that way we can just make a decision now and not have to wait another month at least with these two.
Is everybody in accordance with that?
Yes.
I am, yes.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead, I'll make a motion. See, because you guys don't use the same account number, so I'm not sure
So
how.
that's, I've got it, I'll take care of it in minutes.
Okay,
Right.
so, do you want a lot number?
No, I think I have them on here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'll figure
So
it out.
I'll make, yeah, I don't know how to make a motion without.
So we're gonna make a motion to turn over and I'll put it in the minutes, the 400 and the 1,1300, if able, we'll send that to collection after making sure that one, the Seminole County one can be turned over if it's not already in some sort of collection, and if the $400 one is not able to provide proof of payment, they're gonna be turned over to collection.
I second. All in favor? Aye. Because we're gonna need to pay for that tree.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding.
And then our violation procedures.
Did we ever talk about how we do it?
No. So we'd like to do that.
So do you want me to?
Mhm.
So that too is tied into sync, and admittedly, it's not always me. It's oftentimes patients or another CAM that works within our company, or even a representative of our company, if they're in the area. At any given time, we'll drive through, and our phones are all equipped with it ties right into the portal. So you might see somebody stopped in front of a house, like taking a picture, and it takes a picture of the violation, recognizes the address, and by time they send it to me or they get back to the office, it's already created the letter that lists the violation and the covenant that it relates to. And that's also how we're able to track it also, because it goes right into our system. We also take call-ins or write-ins or emails or neighbors that complain, and then not myself, but someone in our office is able to put that into our system as well. Those don't accompany a picture, but when we send a picture of that violation, because when we send the letter, it has the picture right on it, to the owner, it's very effective.
Right, so, but if like we happen to get a picture, we could send a picture too?
Absolutely, yeah.
And that would
But
be.
if you're driving
preferred.
through and you just shoot me a text, or you get home and you send me an email and say, 3431's got a sofa in the front yard, we're gonna take care of it.
Okay.
So I am a little bit different in how I handle things, and patients my assistant knows that if there is something in the front yard that's offensive, I'm not gonna send them a letter, so it's sitting there I'm gonna call them up and say, get the sofa out of your yard, right? So sometimes they don't go into the system, but you won't see it there, so you know it's been taken care of. If it's yard, building or whatever, they're gonna get a letter.
Okay.
Do we see that on our end in the?
To an extent, yes. So they're working on amping up that, so you can go into our violation module and see when they receive the letter, when they receive the second letter, what's, any conversation with owner. Those letters are effective because they'll have my name on it. So half the time I get calls and I'm winging it. Like today, this lady goes, well, I got the letter about my driveway and you gave me 30 days and I can't get a contractor out here in time, so she's working on it, right?
Yeah.
So I go in and I say, owner called, is going to have driveway fix, extend, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna give her some credit for that. So
Okay.
that detail, no.
Well, that's what I'd like to see, is if we do
Yeah.
something and that the homeowner does respond for it.
Right.
So we know, they're not just totally
Yeah.
blowing us off, like
Right.
some of them just totally
Well,
blow you
here's what's
off.
gonna happen. So I'll tell you how we're gonna remedy that. We're gonna get a letter, then we're gonna do a follow-up letter, and if it's just this constant on and on and on, do you have a finding committee? Probably not. You
Mhm.
do? Awesome,
Mhm.
thank God. Then I'm gonna come to your board meeting and when we're putting the agenda together, because I gotta send them a letter ahead of time, I'm gonna say, I wanna find this. These are this address or these 3 or 4 addresses, want them on the agenda for finding. And we're just gonna put them right into that finding process.
Okay.
So how does the timeline or the flow work? So you see a violation, it gets put into the system. What happens and how long after you see the violation, what happens and how does the process
Well,
work?
there's gotta be follow-up, right? So it depends on what the violation is. Like, if they have a dead yard or, shrubs that we feel need to be replaced because they're dead, it's not gonna happen in 48 hours or whatever. We're gonna give them a modicum of time to do that, right? Some
Okay.
time to do that. So then there's always follow-up. So our system lets us know, we go back, and if it's been cured, it's closed. If it's not, they get another letter. And then we just have to start documenting that. And then it still just goes uncured is what we call it.
So
We're
do
gonna
you
find
know,
them.
for uncured, so you saw, do you wait another month before you go through? Or do you wait for them to call you? How do you?
It depends. It really depends on what the violation is, and it won't be a month. It'll probably be just a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Depending really on, sometimes someone will leave the office and they'll say, I gotta go see if these people fix this fence. They'll go specifically to look for something. It just depends. But we're actively on them,
Okay.
The reason why we ask is
Yeah.
because in the past, it was, Century would do one drive-through a month, and so they either see something on that first time, or they didn't see it, and then we have to wait for them to come
Another
again.
month, yeah.
Or let's just say they did, but now, now we're waiting another month for them to do the second drive-by to
It
see
goes
if it was
on
cured,
and on
and it would
on
go.
and on, yeah.
Correct, so that's why we're trying to
Yeah,
get a
I
handle on it.
understand. No, it wouldn't. That's not gonna happen.
And then this one house, I sent a picture to Century, the moss and the mold on the one side. That owner replied, there's nothing on the side of my house. I sent the picture to Century, they said there is, it's still there,
We'll take care of it.
So it's like, and that was,
We're just gonna stay on them.
okay.
So when does it get to the point that it really gets to the finding
Like
committee?
if they've got three letters, or, 60 days has gone by, or they're just ignoring us, or they tell me to go, you know what, myself or something, I'm gonna find you,
Okay.
all right, let's go,
Okay.
so, right.
So it's funny, because I kept saying to Century, do you drive by the same way every time?
Yeah.
Because if you came from this direction, you're never gonna see the moss.
So-
But if you drive that direction, it sticks right out at you.
People are gonna let us down, right, and, neighbors will call and I'll say, unfortunately, I can't go mow their lawn, but I can stay on them and I can make their lives miserable about it. But when it boils down to it, it's your home, it's a property that I manage, so I wanted to represent how my properties look, so I take it personally too. So we will stay on it. But having said that, we also have parameters we have to stay in. I can't enter their property.
Yeah.
I obviously can't move the log that they have, up against their
Now,
garage
what
door.
about our common areas, like that swale,
Yes.
where I found trees? Somebody obviously cut that tree and left it there.
That's common, that happens often.
And then around our lake is common, and the back of people's houses are seen there. Are you guys gonna look at that? If you go down Fox Hunt, it ends into a cul-de-sac where you can go down and look at that lake and
Right.
those houses there. Is that something we can look
If
at?
I can only do what I can see from like a public access, right?
Yes.
So I can't walk in between houses.
No, there's a public
But if I can
access to
see
that.
it, then I'm okay.
There's
So
a
the
public
state,
access.
right now, you guys know all that legislation changes that happened, and were all effective in July. And any association attorney will tell you this. There's such overzealous violating in the state of Florida, I'm not saying in our area, but many of those things were a response, were a result of that. For instance, now you can have, where you work on your car can be parked in your driveway. Remember, that was a big one for years, because the state's now saying if they're gonna pay your HOA fees, they have to earn a living to do so, right? And so somebody wrote the state and said, they harassed me. It's all a result of what I call over violating.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you just pick up the phone and have a conversation with somebody, instead of sending them a crappy letter, it's much more effective, but whatever works. So my point being, another thing they set up is that we can't strain to look. Like, you can't look over a fence and go, yep, they've got an above ground pool in there.
Yeah.
We might all hear them in their above ground pool, but if we can't see it, we can't address it.
No, there's a public access down
If
Fox
I
Hunt
can
Court.
see it, I
and you-
will be able to see it.
Public access right there, and you can walk up 15 feet around the lake is common area
Right,
that can be walked around. There's some of those houses on the backside,
are pretty rough.
yeah.
So if you can see it, if I can see it,
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
address it.
You just go down by the swing set and you'll see it.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
I guess to add on to it,
Yeah.
I don't mean to sound
No, it's
harsh,
okay.
but it's like, you'll get out of your car.
Yeah,
It's
if
not
that's-
just
yeah.
what.
I mean, most
okay.
of the time, we're just rolling through.
Right,
You know what I mean?
obviously,
And, yeah.
correct.
I mean, that would be the only part,
Sometimes
really
there's
get out of
one.
your car.
Yeah,
But,
because
you know, for
Century
that-
would never get
yeah.
out of their car, period.
I think that's the only spot that would
Would
need to get out of the
require
car,
it,
because
yeah.
it's,
Right.
you park at the cul-de-sac and there's a sidewalk that walks right down to the lake.
But it's overnight, I mean, next week, you're not gonna go, holy, it looks good, it's gonna take a little time.
Right.
Because they're not gonna kill themselves.
Yeah. Right.
But we will stay on it.
So,
Appreciate it.
I wanted to go, you asked about the fining committee.
Oh, yes.
We had this, one of the previous boards put it together,
Okay.
and what we could do would, but is that something you need?
No, this is perfect, because it's nice, I mean, I say if you're gonna fine them, go full tilt, make them all $100 across the board.
Yeah.
But that's entirely up to you. But this too, like everything else, it favors the side of the offender, right? Like, I don't know if any of you have ever rented and you have a hard time getting a renter out, right? So it's so much time, it's so time consuming for them to get to this point. But no, this is perfect, $50, that's fine.
I mean, we can adjust that or not, that was, but I just didn't know if
This is
that
how
was
it's
something you
gonna
were
work.
looking for.
So I have asked Mr. Smith to clean the rust off and the moss off of his fence. Called him, I've talked to him, I've emailed him, I've written him letters, and he's not gonna do it. So I've asked the board to put it on their agenda, consideration of fine for Mr. Smith's mossy fence, right? I have to send him this agenda, no less than I think it's 14 days ahead of time, okay? So he has to be able to come to hear. He doesn't get to jump in and defend himself, he has to hear what the board decides, and I'm gonna plead my case. I've called, I've, emailed, I've written him, he won't do it. Please may I fine him? The board says, yes, you can. So then I get to send him a letter and I say, the board has levied a fine against you. You have your opportunity to speak 14 days from this letter. And then the fining committee gets to assembles, and then that's when he gets to plead his case, up to and including he can bring an attorney if he wants to, right?
So the fining committee, what are they saying then?
So they're gonna say, but as of this letter, you will be fined $50 a day. And I never put the down. All right, so then he comes before the fining committee. They have one or two things they can do, but nothing else. They can uphold the fine, or they can take it away. They can stop it, right? They can't adjust it, they can't lower it or raise it or anything. It's one or two things. They're either gonna support with the board's decision, or they're gonna say, oh, I feel sorry for this guy, he's got a good point, let's not fine him, which is rarely. But it's just the steps that you have to take. But essentially, this guy has now bought himself several months.
Yeah. I don't know, I mean, do you
Can I have
guys
this copy?
agree with that? Yeah, do you guys agree with that?
So you're essentially saying for any infraction that gets to that point, the board has agreed to fine, that it's gonna be, when I send a letter, you have not cleaned the moss off your fence, from this moment on, you're gonna be fined $50 a day.
Okay.
Do you actually have that document, or the actual file?
Well, that's what I got.
Or
What do
was
you mean
that-
file?
Did you actually have, was that something
Like,
you
can you
got? or-
attach it to
right.
it?
That was,
That was just a copy that somebody gave you, but
Rocky was working on it at one point.
But if it was me, I would just make it hurt. I tell every board I work, with $100 a day. You know what, how much work and time and effort's gone into it
Yeah.
by now, And like I tell every board, if I'm bringing it to you, and I have made a lot of effort,
Yeah.
please find it. And that's just a formality. Very, very rarely does it matter.
Okay. What do you think?
I'm with it. I agree.
With $100 a
Make
day?
it simple and
Make it hurt.
What do you think, Wendy?
I mean,
So where we already have it as $100 a day for an ARB, you're saying across the boards, everything?
$100. If I gotta fine you,
Well,
I'm just gonna write
so
you.
how do you deal with, somebody didn't do the ARB?
I've never seen a fine for ARB.
No?
If somebody, and I meant it, that if somebody painted their house without an ARB, we're gonna pay an attorney $250 or $300 to write them a letter and say, you're gonna paint it another color within 6 months or within 3 months.
I think the reason why that came up is because there was a history, there was a history of homeowners doing work before submitting an ARB, then they would get a violation letter. They would go ahead and say, okay, well, here's my ARB for the work that I already did.
And it was
The
okay,
board
okay.
looks at it and it's like, yeah, okay, it falls under our rules,
Yeah, I
and they
think
would
it's
approve it.
actually a really good idea.
But
Yeah.
it's that whole work of having to go after somebody for not doing the correct procedure.
I think there's gonna be I think there should be a penalty for doing work without an ARB, so.
Right.
But, I mean,
Yeah.
where is the defining line? It's just new to me, so I'm just thinking this through. So, you send them a letter, say you did this work without an ARB, therefore we're gonna charge you $100 a day until when? Till you turn one in? Till you turn that form in? I mean, what's the cutoff? I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Right, now,
Oh, here, let fill it out,
Yeah.
so. I
Yeah,
think there should
well-
just be a flat fine for work without an ARB,
Yeah.
period. And I would make it hurt.
Yeah,
Because the fines can be per day or instance.
Yeah, so I would
So you
make
have
it,
an
I'd make it
instance.
$250 an instant or something, that's what I would.
okay, so $250 if they didn't send the ARB, but for the other things, $100 a day
Day.
until they fix it.
Per day.
Per day.
Yeah, but I've been asking you for 2 months to clean your mossy fence, now I'm gonna charge you $100 a day to do it.
Yeah, I agree to make that hurt with ARB, because when I
I do
give
too.
people.
Yeah, I mean, we mean it, it's not a suggestion,
Yes,
folks,
no.
it's not that hard to fill one out
No.
from someone who's not
I would
tech
so-
savvy.
say we have a standard flat, there's every once in a while some Yahoo or some kid will drive right through the arm, $1,000 a pop.
Yeah,
Bam. When it gets on, I mean, it doesn't happen once a year, on the agenda, they all just go, I, we don't even have to discuss it. Just
Yeah.
so that it stops, it just stopped.
yeah. So, do we have to make a motion on that, or can we just tell you?
I'm gonna
what we
kinda
want.
like rewrite it up and everything, and maybe we'll just adopt it.
Okay,
So let's get a couple of, a couple of drive-throughs and get this in motion under our belt.
So how does that, I mean, how far back can you go if you notice? Is it
It's gonna have
to
to
when
go
you
forward.
note it from this point on? So anything that has happened,
So that
Kind of.
house that you were talking about, that
The
the
lady
young
said
lady
that-
brought up,
the
was she,
baby blue.
was she told, like, your house does not meet the standards, or this is not the color that we would submit in your ARB, was she ever put on notice?
I don't think so.
How long ago did that happen?
She said the house was painted a year ago.
So, when,
Katie
she
said
did turn
that
in
blue
an
house
arc?
on Martingale was turned a year
she
ago.
didn't turn one in.
I don't know.
She did without an arc?
She
I
did
don't
it
know.
without, right?
I don't know.
Well, we were on
We
the
need to
board. I don't
find
out. I know,
remember
but I don't-
seeing anything.
Yeah, well,
But those,
Yeah.
Century has a lot of
Yeah,
those.
so but
Oh.
moving forward, if any work that's done without an arc, you can stop it right away. If they're putting a roof on, you can make consistent, you know.
Okay, so there's a house today that's getting a roof on that
I saw
has
that.
not,
I saw
that has not had.
So I got a little worried about that because I noticed someone handed me an envelope that was kind of thick, the country, if you guys, and I set it down and I left it in the Shore's office, but they still didn't get an approval. So I'm not, and that was just, what's today, Tuesday, it was like on Friday, right? So there's no way you could have approved it that fast.
No.
It's like, oh God, I wonder if that was that envelope, so.
No.
And then when you handed around that multicolored one, I thought, oh, that was it. So I texted patients when she'd already left.
Yeah, we never saw one for that one.
But I think we can kind of
Which
handle
one
it
is it?
case by case.
3450 Country Law, that roof.
But we had this is a true story, that's 7 o'clock, so I'll make it short, but I manage a property, really nice community, you know, board's really very nice, but this lady put a roof on and it was complete bait and switch, it was totally different one from the one that she submitted.
Mhm.
It was not even close. So we had an attorney, $250 letter, sent her, made her put on a new roof, cost her a lot of money. Took up a brand new roof and put another one on, and about 3 weeks later, she passed away. So the board president called me, nice lady, Linda Rose, she goes, do you think it had anything? I said, no, Linda, it had nothing to do with her.
The stress, oh no. All right, so we'll work on that.
Yeah,
We
we'll
have
put
the
that
finding,
together.
I have to give you the names of the
Because their
contact.
goal is not even to get to this point. We
Yeah.
want to just get it
Right.
solved, right?
Yes. We'll do that. So then, our budget for the signed repair at Sauls, do we want to go over that?
So, real quick, the sign's down over at Sauls, at the Sauls entrance. I went over it, pretty much, in materials, we're probably looking at about 50 to 60, I'd probably say $60 in materials to repair it. If you guys want, I can go ahead and I can get the materials and I can go ahead and do it, or Jack wants help.
Yeah, Jack will help you.
But,
My husband, I volunteer him a
Oh,
lot.
yeah, nice.
so,
What's that?
Helps people
Oh.
on camera.
yep,
Is that your
I'm
camera?
one camera down.
Oh, okay.
All right, so
So,
do we have to make a motion on that
If
one
you
now? I make a motion that we allow Ariel to purchase the equipment to repair the
I
sign.
second it.
All in favor?
I,
Aye. Mhm.
Mailing charge for non-required letters.
Yes. What are the non-required letters? So if we wanted, we were talking to Bibi, and we said, you know, like, if people are giving us their email so they can send information to them, what are the things that require them to send physical mail?
Meaning us.
Yes.
What are the things that require us to send physical mail?
Yes.
Your annual meeting, it's gonna go via mail, your budget's gonna go via mail, and your past due notices, right? Statements and such are gonna go physical mail.
Okay,
Should
so,
be it.
so 3 things, right? Annual meeting, budget, and past due. Everything else,
If someone calls and says, did that happen this evening? What if I don't email and I can put it in the mail or whatever?
Yeah.
That's gonna go in the mail.
yeah. So those, can we, Bibi said like charge a $10 fee for them, for not just the cost of the mailing, but it's a fee that we could charge them so they can, hey, use your email and you can get it instead. So it's like,
Amy said that?
yeah,
It is based on nothing statutorily, except I can't imagine they would let you do that.
okay.
There's nothing in the statutes that says an owner must have an email. There's nothing in your docs that say you must agree to accept all documentation via email. And again, kind of started down that road and I got sidetracked, but the state is very owner-friendly right now. They're
Yeah.
gonna side with the owner in everything, so we gotta watch our P's and Q's, right? It's, it's just a cost you're gonna have to kind of assume for that,
There, you know how some companies have, well, you'll reimburse us for the mailing charge or you can go electronic for free, you can't do that?
reimbursement for
Oh,
that.
no, I'm sorry. You know how the banks will sometimes say, well, you can sign up for
Oh, yeah,
Electronic
e-statement,
statements.
right.
but if
Well,
you want us to mail you a statement, there'll be a $1 charge or something like that.
That's probably what she's basing it in, but it's got to be something that first you would have to notify your ownership way ahead of time. You can't say, oh, by the way, from now on, I'd have to really look into that.
Okay.
I think that, are you afraid that the Century, was your mail cost so high that, were they,
Yeah.
so what they were just sending out all these letters, maybe, I don't know. Charge for mail, Ooh, I'll find out.
I guess with our assessments being so low
Yeah.
and things always getting expensive, we're trying
Yeah,
to
your budget, you're trying to shave it off. right?
correct. So if we can shave off from a few mailings
Yeah.
and maybe reallocate that money to
So
something
here's what
else.
you can do. So once they register for the portal, they're essentially consenting to electronic, right? So we don't have to send automatic statements or automatic coupons or anything every time there's something due. Let me just work on that, shaving off. I think there's some things we can do. Shave it down. Postage. You can combine your budget and your annual. Do you usually do that at the same
Yeah.
time?
Mhm.
It's gotta go mail.
Yeah.
But then I take that back. Let me research it. I'd rather not wing it. I'd
No,
better
that's
look it up. I know it's one of those costs you think, how can we reduce this, but sometimes it's a necessary evil.
Notification letter for mailing charges and past due accounts.
Notification
Well, that kind of
charges.
went hand
That
in
went-
hand.
okay,
If we
yeah.
were- yeah.
And then,
What we can do though, now I'm just thinking aloud, I'm gonna ask patients if instead of mailing all the violations, if she can email them. That would save a lot.
okay.
If they signed up.
Because that's
for it.
nothing, yeah, if we have your email. It doesn't even have to be signed up if we got something that's got your email on it. Email violations. I think it'd be more effective sending people get mail and they don't even open it, right?
Mhm.
Send mail.
But they don't have to. They don't have to give you electronic consent for that
If they've registered for the
portal.
portal, they have.
And then a status report from law enforcement. When I was away, they called me, wanted to check the sprinklers. I was away, so I contacted Daryl. He went out and checked with Corey. Still supposed to be sending me a report of what they do monthly. I have not seen one in probably 6 to 8 months.
I met with Corey. He said, so he showed me the sprinklers real quick. He showed me the sprinklers over at the Madeline entrance. He said there's a sprinkler pump relay that's not working, so that the sprinklers at the Madeline entrance are not running. He went ahead and we went over to the Sauls entrance. The Sauls sprinkler pump over there is running, but it's not pumping. So he says that he suspects that the wells run dry, which I don't know. But anyway, at the end of the day, I said, well, tell you what. First of all, where are the sprinkler reports? He said, well, I've been sending them to Century at this and this and this address.
That might be true though. When you're done,
Okay.
I'll add to that.
So I said, look, from now on, we're with South Atlantic. Jill is our manager. I gave him your contact
Yeah,
information.
contact
And I
him.
said, just in case, tell you what, here's Linda's contact information. You've got my contact information. I didn't know if you wanted to be involved in the whole
Sprinkler.
go for it
saga.
and sprinkler stuff.
I'll hear about it.
But I said, Jill will be your primary contact, but carbon copy
Yeah.
us in on it, so if Jill doesn't get it, then we get it. He said, okay. I said, get us an estimate for the replacement or the repair of the pump relay at Madeline. And I said, can you get us an analysis on what's happening at the Sauls entrance, if it's the well has run dry or what? He said, yeah, I got a well guy, he can come out and do it. I haven't seen
So
anything or
last
heard anything.
week, he called, when did you meet with him? I think it was last week. He called me, he said, I didn't know, this is who I am. I said, excellent. I said, I'm gonna text you my email, I'm gonna text you where to send your invoices, et cetera, as soon as we hang up. We hang up, my phone starts ringing, and then the next day he calls me, he goes, you didn't text me? I went, so, meaning I forgot, I didn't text him. And as soon as I saw who it was, I went, oh, I'm so sorry, and I did text him all the information. So in his defense, he did reach out to me, and I delayed in getting him, telling him how to get a hold of me.
Okay.
And then there is a message on my phone right now that I got on my way here from him. So
And
I
I
don't know
also-
if it
This was on
relates to you.
Wednesday.
Okay, last week?
Yeah.
Or-
Last week.
Yeah, so that sounds about right.
And then today, Ms. Dunning, she calls to let me know,
Is that this lady?
neighborhood watch lady.
Oh, that's the one, yeah. with the
She
metal
wants to
roofs.
join the board, I
Oh,
don't know.
God, please, yeah.
She said, the lawn guys came today. They sat at, she's on Spring Oak, and we have a
So
lot
now
on Spring Oak.
she's giving you updates on what they do on their own property.
But there's a vacant lot that we have mowed because it's our lot. They came at 10 o'clock, they left at 10:05, didn't mow. Came back at 10:15 for a half hour and still didn't mow. I said, well, it's winter still, so I don't
We're
know.
not paying them
They
back.
did mow the lake
Yeah.
today, so I don't know if they mowed any place else. I did know I noticed they mowed the lake.
They did, I was walking my
So,
dog
I
and
mean,
they were
as a whole, are
mowing.
you guys happy with law enforcement as a whole?
I don't have too much experience with them.
Right.
They came out before I got it.
Because none of them are fantastic.
No.
Right.
I mean, they really aren't, right? And I
They're
work with
okay,
them all.
they're okay,
Yeah.
but they promise you and they give you nothing.
All right, so let me I'll start working with this guy.
Okay.
Because then he
See what
can
he
start
says.
answering.
I'm really
Is that
not sure what else they're
Yeah.
doing besides mowing the lawn. Are
They're
they
supposed to
weeding the
trim
common
trees
areas?
up
or-
certain
Yeah.
parts, like,
Yeah,
so
up
they're
to
supposed to be here
5
every week,
Yeah.
and the weeks they're not mowing, they're supposed to be doing some other
Right,
things.
right.
And I haven't seen any of that, so I don't know. Do we need it in spots? I mean, we have the whole front area, that's a park-like area that's over,
Yeah.
that swale, why have they not done anything, or
Yeah,
they got it?
what's going on?
They haven't, I mean, they should, since the hurricane, that house I got listed, it has fenced down. And, that's been there since the hurricane, since Milton.
Right.
There's branches down there.
Okay,
They're
I'll
supposed to mow that.
Because I worked with everything from like little 1 and 2 man crews to like all the big
Yeah.
ones, Great House, Yellowstone. None of them are great.
No.
I mean, even the
Yeah.
really good ones, I'm like, so.
The one I like is the one, it's called a cut above, I think, I don't know.
Yeah.
They do those townhomes behind us, and they do a really nice
So I
job.
know them too. You'll know.
Yeah.
Like Terrascape, I was smart, it's great, but then, he's not always with his crews.
Yeah,
So if he's not there, you
yeah.
just gotta kind of keep after him.
So, yeah, so I mean, their communication, when you try to call them and talk to them, they usually, one day, I got really mad and I wrote an email, it was like on a Sunday or a Saturday.
Yeah.
And I said, what the heck is going on, blah, blah, blah. And, the owner of the company did call me that day, set up an appointment, was there like that Monday to come see what happened. So I am and I'm not. you
Yeah, I'm
know?
with you, but I'm here to tell you none of them are great.
Yeah. none of them.
I'll start off great.
So, all right, anybody got anything else?
Real quick, the sprinklers with the Madeline and the well pump, the pump over at Sauls, do you have companies that you work with that you can give us a second opinion? Because I don't know,
Yeah.
especially the one over at Sauls.
So what I was gonna do is, if he sends me a proposal for the sprinklers, I'll just have somebody else look at it.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I'm with you. Is that it?
I think we're good.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, motion to adjourn at 7:09. All in favor?
And he-
Aye.